Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tone's Market Analysis for Sunday, April 2nd. We're going to go through the markets real quick. You get to hear New York City in the background right now with motorcycles, now that it's getting nicer out. Actually, hold on a second. I'm going to take a 30-second break to close the windows so that cut down on the noise since this is a live broadcast. Also give people a chance to jump on. All right, and we're back. All right, so as you can see, I finally started updating my blog. Still a long way to go. I have probably about a dozen plus videos and other content that I need to cross-post on my blog. Way behind. I just posted the Crypto Scam episode 7 with Andy Hoffman about gold manipulation and manipulation in general. We do touch on Bitcoin. If you haven't seen that episode of Crypto Scam, it's definitely worth watching. There will be more Crypto Scam episodes eventually. Just trying to, get to it all. But for now, check out the old ones. Also check out the new podcast On the Record on the World Crypto Network. I need to set that up for another episode, actually. Jump right onto the markets. I'm going to go through the traditional markets real quick. I'm still planning on separating traditional markets from the Bitcoin markets and have multiple videos on that. Okay, so the traditional markets, the S&P was pulling back right off the 9 count, and it bounced right off the 50-day moving average. I mean, I was hoping it would have a little more of a pullback, but that's kind of enough. Right now, the S&P is in the middle of nowhere, so this is definitely not tradable at the moment. I wouldn't touch it. You can, draw a trend line right here. Let's drop the arrow. You can draw a trend line right there and just wait and see, is it going to bounce off the trend line and go back down and hit the 50-day moving average again, creating, a symmetric triangle, or are we going to bust through it? So until that happens, I wouldn't touch the S&P 500. What I would be looking for is make these yellow. You have resistance here. You have resistance here at the all-time high. Oops, one more. Right, and I would probably want to see these broken, but I would want to see them. I would like to see it consolidate right in here, and then maybe sometime, I don't know, later in April breakout. And also keep in mind that May is traditionally a month where the stock market takes a break and starts to sell off. So we'll see. We'll see if the sell-off is going to happen early. But right now, the S&P is in the middle of nowhere, so I wouldn't touch it. I'll probably leave these lines in there for next week. Let's upload that. Here's the weekly chart of the S&P. I guess on the weekly chart, the pullback was big enough. I do have this green arrow to new highs. But again, this arrow ends in May. And then in May, the market will probably take a dive. But right now, we're sitting at a support point on the weekly chart. And we can easily go all the way down to 2200 to reach the 50-week moving average, which would also be the all-time high from before the election, right? And that would also be a nice, clean pullback, setting up the S&P 500 for new all-time highs later this year. I'm bullish the stock market, by the way. I know I have 100 viewers here already. Some of them might be new, and we will get to Bitcoin, but I'm overall bullish the stock market. I have been for years. All right, let's close that. All right, gold. So last time we did this video, I put a trade on this chart with a beautiful risk-reward ratio. So shorting gold at 1255. and the trade worked out pretty immediately. And Friday, I guess, should be a daily chart, right? Yeah. So on Friday, wow, why does it say the 3rd? It's weird. Okay, so today was the 2nd. Oh well. Oh, it's already Monday's candle. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so on Friday, the gold pulled back up a little bit. So this trade was in the money, and it was in the money. It wasn't in the money by a lot, but at this point, this is what separates a good trader from a bad trader. You can either, move your stop loss down to a break even, or, profit worth a cup of coffee, or you're going to still give it a little bit of, leg room here. If the price starts to come back to the 1250 and above area, this will probably be broken to the upside, because again, I was always worried about this double top. I hate double tops. They don't hold for too long. So I'm not as confident in the short trade here like I was 3 or 4 days ago when I added it in. Okay, so so we'll see. Let's see how Monday's trading goes for gold. Here's the weekly chart of gold, and again, it's this like resistance cluster, and if it busts above this resistance cluster, there is the declining trend line from the all-time highs, which is going to be way more difficult to break, and that's at around 1275 area, maybe 1280, something like that. So again, if you're short here like I am, theoretically, I would keep a very tight stop, and then I wouldn't even buy it though. Like it's not worth the gain right here. You have to be a really short-term trader, and but hey, if it busts through this line, then boom, it's gonna have a nice 100-point gain. So we'll see, but the resistance is too strong right now, in my opinion. All right, someone asked me to look at silver. Like here's the daily chart of silver, and like I don't see anything, right? Like silver, like gold is so much cleaner technically than silver is. I have nothing. I have like no opinion right here. Like there's you had these lower highs. Gold is just cleaner. I mean, this could have been I mean, hindsight's always 2020, right? So once, like, look at this, lower high, lower, well, see, this is also tricky, right? Like here, it's a lower intraday high, but a higher closing high. So what's more important to you? Is the intraday price more important to you, or is the closing price more important to you? For me personally, it's the closing price. But this trend line looks so much cleaner using the intraday price, right? Or the average of the two. So it's really up to the trader. Okay, so this is neutral. Lower high, yeah. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, way under the trend line though, and then boom, you get this double top, right? Again, my theory on double tops is they're going to be broken. So there it is, you break the double top, and now you go and you make another high, but look, this high is lower than this high. It's just off the trend line. So now we go back and we bounce right off this trend line, right? Like if I would have, if I had this trend line drawn, I haven't looked at silver in a month, right? If I had this trend line drawn a month ago, I probably would have paid attention to this come back to the trend line. I already closed the daily chart of gold, but I don't think gold looked that way. It might have, but I don't remember at this point. I'm too lazy to open daily gold again. But I see it in silver very clear. And now we're back to near this double top. So I mean, silver's in no man's land, right? Daily, and there's no resistance daily. So I guess it's the prior double tops, but I mean, there's not much. No opinion. Here's the weekly chart of silver. And again, it's just not clean, right? Like the trend line down has already been broken, unlike gold. And we made this high, which again is lower than all of those highs back in 2014. We're back. There's a bunch of resistance here with both moving averages. We're slightly above them, but nothing to write home about. Can silver bust out? I mean, I guess it could. I mean, I'm not a hater of the metals as most people think. I just don't see anything in them. Can it do this? Sure. I think it can. Can silver do this while gold is falling? Well, people are commenting to me privately and publicly that it's impossible for silver to go up and for gold to fall. I think anything is possible. Anybody that thinks that that's impossible is, not factoring in all options. Can silver go to $25 while gold stays flat or maybe moves up $20, $30? I believe that it could. Again, so if I look at gold, oh man, this is the daily gold. Yeah, I guess the trend line did something similar. Let me open weekly gold again. I'm gonna get to Dash later this episode, guys. There might be that's gonna be interesting, isn't it? Gold weekly. I'll pull it up again. I don't want to spend too much time on the precious metals though. I also want to get to the Bitcoin. Oh yeah, hopefully Rich is going to help me out again and consolidate all the questions. So thanks in advance, Rich. Also, thanks to all of you guys. I did get a couple of more micropayment donations, which is great. Please do not, make the fee as low as possible. I do not believe the blocks are full. I'll mention my consulting services that are now in slightly higher demand a little later. So what's my outlook, right? Like see here's gold weekly, and if gold busts out, I don't know. I just don't see much here, right? Like maybe here. I don't know. I still think it's gonna struggle getting through this trend line because this is the trend line, right? See, this is the gold trend line from the all-time high. If we now go to silver, right? The silver trend line off the all-time high has already been broken. It's been broken a while ago, right? So silver is in a much better position to reach some kind of a high, while gold can struggle. So I know people think I'm crazy anyway, but like to me, like something like this, like I don't know how far this arrow would go, right? Like maybe silver has bounced. Maybe silver has reached its all-time low. Not all-time low, sorry. Oh, not what I wanted. Maybe silver has already reached its decade low, right? The fall from 2011, it's very possible that silver has reached its final low. Because silver had fallen. What did silver fall? Silver has fallen from $50 down to 15. So that's 70%. So silver has fallen 72% to be exact, right? So silver has fallen 72%. If you now go back to gold, right? Gold had a high of 1920. It went as low as 1040, right? So gold fell only like 45%, right? So while silver fell 70. So I don't see why believable that gold will make a low in the 900 to 800s while silver has bottomed. I don't have a problem with that scenario, right? Because again, to me, the scenario is all technical. So we'll see. I understand that silver is way more volatile. So when gold goes up, silver goes up more. And when gold goes down, silver goes down more. I understand that, right? But there's no rule. Nothing is written in stone. So to me, silver right now is way stronger than gold. Does that mean that they've both bounced off the lows and they will both make new all-time highs? It's possible. But as long as all this resistance is in the way, I'm not going to bet on it. If I'm making any kind of bet on gold and silver, it's going to be a short bet, not a long bet. But yeah, is this possible? Yeah, but I have absolutely no confidence in this whatsoever. So I'm, deleting these things. I'm also expecting a really strong U.S. economy and a strong U.S. dollar, and that's also going to hurt the precious metals because they're denominated in the US dollar. All right, so that's kind of my silver view. All right, let's close all of these. Probably spent more time than I wanted. Here's oil. We did end up having a pretty bullish week in oil. So my original scenario is back on the table. And but again, this is not a trade I would make, even though this would be a very nice, low risk, high reward, where you enter right at the 50-day moving average. You give it like $1 in risk, and looking for like $15 in gain. Right now, the risk reward ratio isn't as pretty, so I would just wait. I'm still bullish on oil, but like I'm only like 53% bullish on oil, so not enough for me to make a bet on. The euro came very close to its declining 50-day moving average that is now sitting at a decade low on the moving average. Got rejected pretty severely, and I've been looking for a big fall in the euro, so maybe it's finally coming. Here is my trade, again, my theoretical trade. I wish I had time to put these trades on in real life and actually babysit them, but this would have been beautiful. Everyone watched me live right here when I would have put this trade on at 0.875 and was only risking a little bit, like 1 point on the currency ratio, and the target was pretty steep. This is the euro versus the pound. I believe that the euro is still grossly overvalued and the pound is grossly undervalued because leaving the eurozone was the greatest thing that not the eurozone, sorry, leaving the European Union was the greatest thing Britain has done in a while. Actually, that was one of the most smart moves they could have possibly made. So yeah, so once the price falls below the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders, once the price falls to like 0.835 or 0.8, yeah, in this area, oh, this thing can seriously accelerate. So I tried this trade down here a little, prematurely, and that's why I lost money on this trade, and it literally exited me at the top, which was unfortunate, right? If I had a little more patience, could have taken on this trade at the top of the right shoulder, and would have been awesome. I might have even, profited nicely down here at the moving average. Could have entered it again the second time, but I never said I was a great trader, guys. I mean, I can read these charts, but execution of trades is something different, which is why I know I try not to directionally trade. It's too stressful, and it's also it needs to be a full-time job, and my full-time job seems to be making videos. So it's I might consider doing directional trading again, but that also means I will never make another video again because, again, one always comes at the expense of the other. And I am considering that, so keep that in mind in case there's no more videos one day. All right, let me close that. All right, so here's Bitcoin. Here's Bitcoin weekly, and I mean, looks good to me. I mean, if you didn't know there was a scaling debate going on, that would be like, yeah, a couple of bad weeks, and now we're coming back up. So nothing really to see here on the weekly chart. The daily chart is where things start to get interesting. This is the Brave New Coin Liquid Index. I published this specific idea on TradingView, so it's immutable in what I call the TradingView blockchain. And my view was from the beginning of the year that we would struggle to break the 1150 line. And we broke above it, and then we fell way below it. And now we're back. So basically, when I put these arrows together in late January or something, I expected on April 1st for the price to be at around 1085, and that's exactly where it is. So to me, this is good. So here's the only bad part. The only bad part is that we're sitting right under the daily 50-day moving average, right? So right now we're at exactly the 50-day moving average. So there is a chance that we can get rejected right here. There's a chance we can get rejected right here. So that's actually worrying me a little bit because we got rejected right here by the 50-day moving average. Though right here we had no problem breaking through it. The 50-day moving average hasn't been all that great. Like if you go backwards, like here it was great support back in November. But then here we immediately broke below it, and then we immediately broke above it. And then here we immediately broke below it in July, and then we immediately broke above it, right? So it hasn't been that useful. And over here as well, right? In January, broke below it, and then 2 weeks later, we broke right above it, right? But this time around, we broke below it, and then we got rejected. But this is also scaling related. So we'll see. If we get rejected today and tomorrow, there might be a little downside in Bitcoin, but I think we're going strong. I'm not too worried here. All right, here's the other daily view, and let me throw the moving average on. I guess it'll look the same. That's the 200-day moving average. Yeah, I don't even have the 50 on here. Should I add it? Yeah, let's add it. What do we got here? Gonna make it blue. Inputs 50. Okay, so you can see it right here. We're literally touching it, right? So the can make it. Oh no, that's not it. Hold on. Right. So the value of the 50-day moving average right now is 1,117, right? So once we hit 1,117, more like 18, I guess. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we get rejected. So I'll leave that moving average on there. It doesn't really hurt. I can always, take away the visual. We're still in the channel. I mean, the green arrow still holds, and we'll see what happens. All right, so here's the daily. Pulling back a little bit. Looked nicer, when I started this video. So let me. Right, so I tweeted this out this morning. Those that follow me on Twitter, and if you don't follow me on Twitter, I strongly recommend following me on Twitter, because lately I've been tweeting these out more often. So this is what I saw this morning when I woke up, and I tweeted it out because I love my triangles, and this looked like a nice ascending triangle Oh, let me hide that. This looked like a nice ascending triangle, and ascending triangles break to the upside, 75% of the time or so. And then I looked at the fat part of the triangle, and it had about a $43 range. So I was looking for a $43, $45 breakout to the upside sometime today. And those that saw my tweet, I said, Bitcoin technical analysis is calling for an immediate breakout to around 1150 mark. So we'll see. And it broke out like 2 hours later, broke out literally on the arrow. Where is it? Yeah, like right there. Like the breakout hour is literally right on the arrow. I haven't moved the arrow. It was there from this morning's tweet. And yeah, so I think we're going up. And this was the original trade that I put on, was only looking for upside to 1,000. And then once we got to 1,000 right here, I raised the target up to 1175. Okay, and we'll see. Still looking for this breakout. That's pretty much it for me on Bitcoin. I'll leave that on there. So my other tweets today. Nope, not that one. Yeah. So I forgot to do this last month, but I do this kind of every month. See, to me, all of these coins are really useless. They are. They're just useless. And all this market cap to me is reflective of Bitcoin. So if anyone is saying, "Hey, Tom, can I buy some Bitcoin?" Sure, this is the price right here, $1,608 per Bitcoin. So all the money that's going into the crypto space, money coming into Bitcoin, because eventually it's all going into Bitcoin, right? So to me, the effective price of Bitcoin right now is 1,608. And I tweet these out on the first of the month usually. All right, close that. I also did this today. This took me way more time than I wanted it than I kind of wanted. But I don't think I'll have the patience nor the time to do this every week. But people were like talking about Ripple this morning when I woke up, right? Like, here's Ripple. Right, so this is today. And here's the weekly gain of Ripple, right? So I want to take a look. I want to take a look on this week in history. What were some of the 7-day gains from coins in the top 100? And I put together this graphic. Now, I have heard of most of these coins, but how many of these coins are around today and are relevant at all? And the answer is none. I don't know of any. I mean, BitShares, it's one of 3 BitShares that all 3 of them are scams. Zeta coin was what's his name? Bryce Weiner, the scam that Bryce Weiner was talking about in multiple videos. Like these things are ridiculous, right? And these, by the way, these were the top gainers this week. And this was the top gainer a year ago this week, right? I mean, these things don't mean anything. It's literally like penny stocks. Here is the top gainer 2 years ago this week, right? This is the week of April 5th. I mean, there it is, right? Taco coin made you almost 3,000% in 1 week, right? I mean, this is nonsense. I would have gone back to 2013, but there's no history. There were also almost no altcoins in April of 2013. There was like 5. All right, so I mean, again, I don't care about these pumps. Oh man, do we want to talk about Ripple? Oh, why do I have 2 of these? I can close one. All right, so here's Ripple, right? So when I took the snapshot, when I did the snapshot today, Ripple was up 600%, right? So Ripple was up 6x from a penny to like 6-7 cents. And what it tells me is that, they're running out of ideas. They're repumping the old scams. And for those that aren't familiar with Ripple, I have a whole video on Ripple. Just Google crypto scam Ripple and you'll find my video about Ripple. What people need to understand is like the most of these, the proposition of the token is garbage. Ripple's token proposition is garbage because you don't need to invent your own currency in order to stop spam. That's ridiculous. I always go back to the analogy, like where would Amazon be today if you can only purchase from Amazon with Amazon stock? Like you have to go and buy Amazon stock and then use Amazon stock as the medium to buy things from Amazon or Netflix or eBay or pretty much anything, right? What if Twitter had its own currency to stop spam, right? So what if you had to use the Twitter stock, which is perpetually declining, just like Steam, in order to stop spam on Twitter? Now, it would be great one day if Twitter can add some kind of a spam protection or a lot of these things. Like I would love it if, Proton Mail can embed some kind of a spam protection, but I wouldn't want Proton Mail to create Proton Coin to stop spam. I would want them to use a currency in existence, either the US dollar or Bitcoin, whichever one is easier to implement for them, right? But definitely, you don't want to reinvent the wheel of currency. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Ripple. It was a scam created by Jeb McCaleb, and you guys are still buying into it. Well, maybe not my followers, but followers in general. Okay, so all right, let's talk about Dash for a minute. I have 200 viewers. Excellent. Now that I have more viewers, again, thank you for your donations. Thank you for the support, watching my videos, tweeting out my videos, and stuff like that. Okay, so here's what I mean. Some people are taking me up on my consulting service, for which I charge 0.1 Bitcoins per hour. And we can talk about whatever you like. And yesterday, as you can see right here, see Dash USD and Dash USD daily. And you can see the timestamp yesterday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, and let me open these up. So this is the Dash daily. And this is the Dash USD. So I haven't looked at these since this time because that's the timestamp when I last made a change to the graph. And then I'll also pull up Dash Bitcoin. The timestamp is today because I had this one open all night. So I had it open on my computer today. That's why the timestamp is today. But the others I created yesterday. And the reason they were created is because someone took me up on my consulting service and the person wanted to talk about the technical analysis of Dash. Like, again, right, if you're paying me for my time, I don't mind talking about any financial asset you like, and I will tell you my opinion. So when we discussed Dash yesterday, this was a triangle that I drew. This is the opposite triangle of what I saw in Bitcoin. And this triangle was drawn right around here. So when was this? Yeah, it was around here, actually, because you saw the timestamp of the, you saw the timestamp, right? Where's the timestamp? Dash hourly, timestamp 1906, right? So I saved this chart at 1906. So 16, 17, 18, 19. So right here, right around this time, I saved this chart. I had this triangle drawn in, and my view on Dash, I mean, again, like technical analysis isn't always correct, but my view on Dash at the time was, well, I see this triangle. There's a 75% chance the price is going to fall, and it's going to fall the fat part of the triangle. The fat part of the triangle was $8.50. So I expected Dash to fall $8.50 down to 58 bucks. And it so happens that's exactly where it fell today and bounced. Now, here's another chart that also I did it at the same time. You see that same triangle. That's the triangle from the 1 hour chart. And there's the arrow. You can't even see the arrow because the arrow is being blocked by the red candle. And again, this is my proof. This is why I keep saying TradingView is an amazing blockchain, because I can prove to everyone watching live that the last time this chart was saved was at 19:06 p.m. yesterday. So I did not put this arrow in hindsight today. That's when it was saved onto the chart. And the daily chart suggested that the 50-day moving average may cause a break in the fall in the price of Dash. And it so happens that the 50-day moving average is at exactly 0.052 Bitcoin. You can see it right there in the upper left-hand corner. Like if I move this guy, it changes, right? But here, 0.052. And now if I go to the same triangle on the hourly chart using a Bitcoin versus Dash instead of US dollars versus Dash, you can see that the bottom of my arrow was also at 0.052. So this is just like, I guess it's dumb luck that the fat part of the triangle is like $8 worth, and then $8 is exactly how much it would have needed to fall in order to reach the 50-day moving average. I guess it's somewhat of a coincidence. The other thing we talked about was this 50-hour moving average, and how it would struggle through it, right? Because I also do like technical analysis education, because not a lot of people know these technical analysis tools. So again, I would never take the time out of my day to put together a technical analysis on Dash. I would only do it, as a service, because someone is paying me for my time to look at Dash. That's the last thing I want to do. But if there is a coin you're interested in having my opinion on, whether the fundamental view of that coin or the technical view on that coin, this is what my consulting service is all about. And I'm charging 0.1 Bitcoins per hour, and we can talk about whatever altcoin you like. And if my technical analysis read is that it's going to go up, I will tell you it's going to go up. Whether my opinion of it being a scam or not is kind of irrelevant, right? So that's just my view. I don't have any charts of any other altcoins. Those that are interested in seeing charts from me for any other altcoins, and keep in mind, it's preferable that they exist on TradingView, but I don't mind opening up Poloniex, right? Like I don't care, right? So what happens? What do I think is the future for Dash? Well, I don't want to talk about that on this video, but those that are interested, feel free to hit me up privately. All right, so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and close the Dash charts. All right, I guess it's Q&A time, right? I mean, I'm about 40 minutes in. I'm not gonna try and keep this short. Hopefully Rich is helping me out. And let's see, throw some questions in there for me in the Skype window, and we can get on it. In the meantime, since there are no questions in the Skype, I saw a few questions come through. So let me scroll to the top of the window and see if I spot any questions with a capital Q. Here we go. Tone, why are you so bullish about the stock markets when PE ratios are already so high? I think PE ratios are somewhat irrelevant. I don't really care much for the PE ratios. And I think that irrational exuberance can get out of control. So I'm expecting PE ratios to get completely wacky. And the reason is because of the bond market. So the bond market is actually interesting. Oh, you know what? Since I'm talking about traditional, guys, I love talking about traditional markets. I actually love talking about traditional markets, but probably even more than Bitcoin. But I know that most of the questions are Bitcoin, so I'll get to those. This will it's good that we get to kick off with the bond market. Let me just show you one graph. I started catching up on my traditional market stuff. I just want to show you guys one graph. Let's see. Excellent, right here. So this is the graph of interest rates. This is what interest rates have been doing since 1900. And the note right here points out the interest rate reached this green descending line, was right here in 2000. Sorry, right here in 2008, and right here in 2000. And now we're back, right? So here's the thing, right? Either the interest rate crashes, and the reason the interest rate would crash is because there's a stock market crash, or the interest rate breaks out. If the interest rate breaks out, holy shit, look out below. Because all of this money that is sitting in the fixed income market is going to get the hell out of the stock market. And it's going to send PE ratios so far out of control, it'll be like nothing you've ever seen. So that's kind of our future this time around. If interest rate goes up and the bond market collapses, the stock market is going to go through the roof, because all that money has got to go somewhere. Okay, the stock market has been very undervalued, let me pull up one more chart here that I put together for my presentation in Acapulco. I don't want to show this chart too much, and I haven't even published it on TradingView yet, mostly because I want to send it out to Zero Hedge. They would be very interested in it, assuming they read my email. Where is it? INDU historical, I think. Stock market has been very undervalued. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to take too long on this question, guys. I know I have like 220 viewers right now. So while that loads, so stock market has been very undervalued, and remember where we're headed, right? Like it's the tech sector. It's the tech sector. Every one of our cars is going to be driven by a computer. Every one of our packages is going to be delivered by a drone. Amazon, right? Everything we watch is going to be Netflix. There's so much value there. Technology is seriously advancing. Like this was the chart that I did for an Acapulco, where the stock market was literally stuck nowhere between 1998 and 2015. It usually gets stuck in this range for 15 years where it doesn't move, and then it's volatile like 50%. Like it goes up and down, like it loses half its value a couple of times. It also happened right here, the stagflation days of the late 60s, early 70s. And then the stock market broke out. And when the stock market breaks out, it goes up tenfold. Happened again here in the 40s after the war. When it finally broke out, it went up almost tenfold. So now that the stock market has broken out, I'm expecting it to go up almost tenfold. It may sound crazy, but hey, that's what's going to happen. So I am looking for the stock market. I mean, like I'm expecting PE ratios to get completely out of hand. So that doesn't matter, right? I mean, again, Ripple just went up 6 times. I mean, why can't the stock market do that, right? I mean, there's nothing there. If you're going to tell me that, well, the stock market is overvalued, I mean, where's the value in Ripple, right? I mean, just look, you're all cryptocurrency traders, right? You know that there's these pump and pumps don't mean anything, right? So why is it hard for you to believe that the irrational exuberance of people dumping their money into the stock market are any different than people dumping their money into, Ripple, people dumping their money into whatever. What was that? I don't even know what other coins pumped this week, Decred, or whatever, right? Ethereum, right? Zcash. It's the same. It's the same behavior. The behavior that people display in the altcoin space is no different than the behavior in the traditional markets. Only those companies actually make something, unlike Ripple. I don't care for PE ratios. I don't even look at them. And the valuation of PE ratios is not for today. They're for 10, 20 years into the future, right? So any company that has remote potential of creating some future technological innovation, its PE ratio is going to be out of control. All right, next. Can you address more as to your reasons behind the coming mega bull you expect to be reached around August 2017? Approximately what range is this 5-wave analysis? I don't do 5-wave analysis. I don't believe in Elliott waves. I find Elliott waves to be kind of useless. I'm not a fan. I think they're dumb. Let's just what do we got here? No, I don't want to do an alert. Style, where's the scale? Can I do a scale? Thought I can advance it, but I can't. All right, so let me. Oh man, I'm already messing up my. Oh wow. Yeah, this was a bad idea, guys. But and then, yeah, TradingView is still a little buggy. All right, I think this would be clean. There. All right, so there. So I expanded it. So let's see July. Let's see August, right? So my view is mid-August, right there. So the top of this channel in mid-August is at around 2,300. I would like to see that. Now, why do I like that time period? Well, the reason why I like that time period is if I go to my blog and I go to publications, oh, back to Ripple. What do I think the effects on the rest of the market from Ripple is? Just another pump. It's a shitty pump too, because Ripple is all pre-mined. So by you running into Ripple, you think you're making yourself rich, but you're thinking you're making the Ripple company rich, and there's no need for that token. It's literally they've created their own monopoly money in order to remove spam, and there's no need for their own monopoly money to remove spam. All right, what happened here? No, still loading. I mean, there was never any reason to create the Ripple token other than to get rich from the Ripple token, right? This is the same proposition that Factom has. This is the same proposition that Ethereum has. This is the same proposition all of these coins have. You know which coins don't have this proposition? I guess, Dash doesn't have this proposition, right? Because Dash is just a currency. A Litecoin is just a currency. Monero is just a currency, right? So they're different. The difference between Litecoin and Dash is that Dash had a scammy beginning and Litecoin had a legit beginning. This is why Litecoin can't afford Amanda B. Johnson to shill the coin, but Dash could. Dash then did something, then Dash pulled another scam on all of its believers in creating the masternode system, which is basically proof of stake. They convince you that you need to, lock up your coins, not to put them on the open market, so that there'll be less supply while the demand stays big. And then they created another scam convincing you that governance is important, when in fact governance is a major liability. So eventually all of them will come back to bite them in the ass. But when that is, I have no idea, right? But the Ripple proposition is very different. The Ripple and Ethereum propositions are, well, we made this great platform, but we also created our own currency to remove spam instead of using, the currencies of today. And now there is this, perverse incentive to have the coin. Again, I go back to having Netflix stock to buy Netflix movies. Basically, what's important to you? The value of Netflix stock or using Netflix? I mean, this is why it's somewhat insane to use the value of the protocol for the use of that protocol. It's just stupid. Bitcoin was just solving the money problem. Censorship resistance of value transfer. That's it. All right, so if I go to my old article on Cointelegraph that I've written, Intro to Time Part 1, and let that load. I wrote it back in August 31st of 2014, and using some time analysis, I came up with a date of importance in the life cycle of Bitcoin, which is 2017.62. So if we, take out our calculator and we do quick math, because I can't do that math in my head, if you do 365 days and you multiply it by 0.62, you get 226, right? So on the 226th day, there should be some kind of importance. Now I'm going to the calendar on my wall, which actually lists days by number from 1 on January 1st. So day number 226 of the year is on August 14th. There you go. Maybe I'll remember that for next time, right? So to me, August 14th should be, relevant. And we'll see how relevant it is. My prior date was 2015.46. And that corresponded to within like a day or two of the Greek crisis, the Greek shutdown, right? So it's, and that, to me, that was a low point in Bitcoin. So I'm looking for the next point to be a high point in Bitcoin. That's why I kept saying for a long time. And so August 14th. So keep an eye on August 14th. I mean, I will. If it reaches some kind of a critical high that day, maybe I'll finally sell some Bitcoin. I don't know. We'll see. I also don't want to cause a panic, right? Like shit. I don't want to be. I don't want to have like 1,000 live viewers by then. I don't want to be the oracle of Bitcoin saying to sell, and then everyone sells, and everyone blames me for the panic, right? So I probably won't even sell. I'll just say, just watch that day. I don't want to be in a position, right? People are like, because what happens is you end up in a position like the Federal Reserve. Like, imagine what would happen if Janet Yellen came up and said, "That's it, it's over. Sell everything. We're collapsing." Government can't do that, right? There's like this responsibility. You don't want to scream fire in a crowded movie theater, right? So, me screaming "sell" at some point is not going to end well. This is why I feel bad for Vinny Lingham, right? Like when Vinny Lingham said that he sold like 90% of his Bitcoin and that he's looking for much lower prices, I felt bad for him because I knew that people were going to jump down his throat. And it's unfortunate, right? Because not everybody wants to sell their Bitcoin. And when you have prominent people calling for a fall in prices, it makes people very upset. And in previous videos, I talked about how I was very, very hated back in 2014 and 15 when I kept saying that prices are going to go lower. And I wasn't even popular back then. Like most of you don't even know who I was back then. But yeah, that's kind of the view. All right, next. Can you give some brief thoughts on Litecoin price going up? Well, I've been saying for weeks, guys, that Litecoin is grossly undervalued because Litecoin is somewhat useful, unlike Dash and unlike it. I mean, I guess Ethereum is useful because everyone else is like putting their scams on top of Ethereum now. So there's a use case for Ethereum there. I was wrong, I admit. I was very wrong on Ethereum. Ethereum has a use case. It allows you to create an ICO scam coin that you can just put on top of it, right? So it's there's a use case for Ethereum. Eventually, Ethereum will fork and all your ICOs are going to go to shit. But the different question I'm answering here. But so the moment Litecoin like doubled in price the other day, I immediately sent a tweet. I might have replied to someone's tweet. I don't remember. I don't usually tweet about altcoins. I just don't care enough. I immediately sent a tweet saying that it was a SegWit related. And people immediately replied to me by saying that, Tone, you're an idiot. There's nothing. Nothing's changed with SegWit and Litecoin. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm an idiot. But then like a day later, F2 Pool signals for SegWit. And this is the same position I took when Monero was accepted by the darknet markets. I'm like, go back. You will see the massive volume spike like a few days or a week before Monero was accepted by the darknet markets. Because remember, someone always has more information than you do. This is why I trade technically and not fundamentally, because I will never have all the information. I don't have the resources of a hedge fund. Go watch the show Billions. I don't have the resources of Bobby Axelrod. Okay, so that's a reference to the show. So go watch it. It's excellent. One of my favorite shows, and it's a financial show. I mean, it's a like drama. It's not like a documentary or anything like that. So go check it out. It's called Billions. And someone had more information than you. And someone bought up a bunch of Litecoin knowing that F2 Pool was going to signal for SegWit. This is why I was very confident in my statement that the initial jump in price was SegWit related, even though there was absolutely zero evidence to the contrary at the time. But the evidence came like 24 to 48 hours later. And they signaled for SegWit, and there you go. And that's why I've always considered Litecoin to be undervalued during all of these pumps. Now, again, I don't think Litecoin has all that much of a future, but at least it serves some purpose at the moment, being a Bitcoin testnet. Ethereum also served its amazing purpose of being a Bitcoin testnet when it forked, by the way. That was beautiful. I was very happy about that, by the way. It made these debates with Bitcoin Unlimited much easier because of Ethereum. So I will always be happy that Ethereum actually existed and did what it did. Thank you, DAO Hacker. You're in amazing graces with Tone Base, by the way. Thank you for that. So where was I? Oh yeah, Litecoin. So that was pretty much my view. And when the news broke, money was already made. Is SegWit going to get adopted by Litecoin? I have absolutely no idea. But the money was already made. So if it looks like Litecoin is going to get SegWit, all of the money is going to be made before SegWit is actually adopted on Litecoin. And the same thing goes for Bitcoin. Okay, I think you guys heard news that they want to do a user-activated soft fork for segregated witness on Bitcoin. I think it's August 1st, I believe they moved the deadline, or July 1st, I don't remember, right? That's going to be the pump. The Bitcoin pump is going to be knowing that SegWit will be adopted in the future, not the day it gets adopted. I will always go back to the halving day right here. All the speculative money was made a month before the halving actually happened. The peak took place on June 15th. The halving took place on like July 4th or July 5th or something like that, like right around the 4th of July. So all the money from the pump was made a month before the halving. By the time the halving happened, the price had already fallen and then kept falling, which if you go back to my videos from like December, even some articles from the December, I can link you to those articles. Like go right here, go to, if you're on my publications page, find the article from December. Let me see, maybe I'll just click on it. December 2000, December 2015, wow. Here, Tone Vase tears down the blockchain on Bitcoin meme. I wonder if it was mentioned there. I don't know. Kyle was writing this article. Kyle Torpy. Great work, Kyle, by the way. Appreciate it. Yeah, this is where I make fun of R3 and I call them a terrible project that will go nowhere. And I also say that all they can do is hire, unqualified developers like Mike Hearn. The best developers in the space are at Core, and R3 will resort to hiring failed Bitcoin Core developers. So I remember I was on that panel with Brock Pierce and a few other guys, and did I talk about? No, that's more R3 stuff. Too bad. I was hoping this article would have me talking about how all the money is going to be made before the halving with the pump, and then when the halving actually happens, it'll be too late. It'll already be dropping. But that was the idea. The SegWit is the same thing. SegWit, same exact thing. With SegWit, like all the money is going to be made in preparation for SegWit passing. The day SegWit passes, it'll probably be already selling. So look for a repeat of this. All right, next question. Is it likely Bitcoin can have a run like Dash or Ripple or Ethereum going up to 5,000 or 10,000 in a matter of days or weeks? Probably not, because Bitcoin is a much deeper market. There's a lot more liquidity in Bitcoin. So it can't really do that. And remember, Dash, again, this is why Dash is a bit of a scammy token to me, because like half of Dash is stuck in these stupid master nodes, right? So you can't have supply meeting demand. Steemit had the same bullshit, right? Like these things go up in value. Like Dash went from $20 to $100 because of their proof of stake system, where nobody wants to sell it because they're earning interest from the mining rewards that aren't going to mining, but they're going to stakers, which is why Dash is able to pull that off. Ripple is kind of the same way, right? Most of Ripple is sitting at the Ripple Labs, Ripple Foundation, whatever it is, right? Like your crypto market cap can tell you that there was like 37 million Ripple in circulation, but it's not really in circulation either. 37 billion Ripple in circulation. I don't even know, some crazy number. But most of it is like held by like a few parties, right? They're not really selling because they might have to disclose some income, or they would, drop the price, whatever. So a lot of these tokens pump so much because they're being held. They're not really in circulation, but almost all of Bitcoin is in circulation. So it makes it a lot more difficult to pump like that. But once all this value leaves the altcoin space and goes into Bitcoin, it can go up fairly quickly. But no, I don't see it going up like 3 times in a day. I don't see it going up to like $10,000 each in a span of a month. I don't. I think there is way more liquidity in Bitcoin. Will Litecoin spike further if when there is a SegWit announcement start? Yes, I believe it can. I believe that there's still people still aren't convinced. I mean, the pump that took place was basically insiders knowing what F2Pool is going to do. But I think there will be another Litecoin pump if it looks like they're going to reach their 75% consensus goal on SegWit. But though, I mean, I'm not trading Litecoin, right? I mean, just my opinion. Smart contracts on Bitcoin. I still haven't been convinced that we need decentralized smart contracts. See, I hate the word smart contracts. It means nothing. I don't know what a smart contract is, right? To me, a smart contract is a self-executing, contract, right? But so what? Right? Like, we don't need a decentralized system for a smart contract, right? Bitcoin itself is a smart contract, by the way. But other than that, right? Like, why can't I write a smart contract that's going to, do something, right? A smart contract that will automatically file paperwork with the state to sell my house the moment someone commits to buying my house. Like, why do I need that on Ethereum? Why the hell do I need that on Bitcoin? Why can't I have Google do it? Why can't I have anybody do it, right? Why can't I have a middleman that's going to charge me like $5 to do this, right? So what you need to convince me is why we need decentralized smart contracts, right? Because Bitcoin gave you censorship-resistant money. So anyone that talks about smart contracts without the smart contracts, decentralized smart contracts, from Turing complete smart contracts, from Turing complete decentralized smart contracts, I don't think they have any idea what they're talking about. And if someone isn't able to give you proper definitions on the difference between those 4 different types of smart contracts, I think they're a complete idiot. Okay? They need to be able to define what a smart contract is, and I haven't seen anybody do that. So to me, the concept of smart contracts is just stupid. You need to talk to me about the specifics. And when you have a Turing complete decentralized smart contract, what you have is the DAO. If you want to drop it down a notch, Turing complete smart contracts, well, the code can program code. Is that good or bad? Well, I don't know. You tell me. In my opinion, it's just waiting to be hacked. A decentralized smart contract, I'm going to ask you, well, why are you decentralizing your contract? What's in your contract that needs censorship resistance? Is it an assassination contract? Because then it's useful. If not, then why the hell is it decentralized? I mean, there's no point. So to me, decentralizing a smart contract is silly. And if you're building your business around decentralizing a smart contract, you will realize real quickly that the only contracts it's useful for are like things that are being censored by the government and the jurisdiction that they're in. Centralizing your smart contract becomes a much more useful technological proposition. What is my definition of a scam? I don't know. I don't have one. Nobody knows. Um, if it's in the crypto space, assume it's a scam. That's the world I live in, and I'm right 99% of the time. To me, scammers, it needs to be either very obvious that the project will lose people money, or I believe that the person running the project knows that they're only running it to get rich and there's really nothing to the project, right? So does Evan believe that Dash is going to be successful? I don't know. I'm leaning towards he knows that it's a scam, but he's pretending that it's not. But that's my opinion. Is Litecoin a scam? Probably not. Not in my opinion, right? I don't think Litecoin is a scam. Because Charlie Lee has a day job. He created it because he thought it was interesting. He created it in a very fair way where he didn't really have that much of an advantage. Is Ripple a scam? Well, it sure started as a scam. I mean, watch my video on that. So everything is different, right? Like here's the thing, right? Is Mark Karpelès a scam? Was he ever a scam? I'm going to say probably not. I believe that Mark Karpelès got scammed by Jeb McCaleb, who created Ripple and who created Mt. Gox. He sold Mt. Gox to Mark Karpelès, didn't disclose all the information. He sold it to him with missing Bitcoin. Mark Karpelès was Mark Karpelès was running the Mt. Gox scam the moment he got involved with it, without even knowing. And he tried to fix the problem as best he could, and he didn't run away with the money, so he's broke. So I don't think Mark Karpelès was ever a scam. Jeb McCaleb was, who created Mt. Gox. We're about Big Vern. When did Big Vern of Cryptsy become a scam? Well, all of us knew that Cryptsy was gonna implode. Once Cryptsy got hacked for half the money, Big Vern had two choices to make. He can either fess up to losing half the money and potentially go to jail, or have an angry mob on his hands. He can try and pretend to fix the problem like Mark Karpelès tried and end up losing the rest of the money. Or he can take what's left of the money and run away to China. He took what's left of the money and ran away to China. So when did Big Vern become a scam? Well, he probably became a scam the day he decided to take the money and run. If he didn't take the money and run, he could have, held his head up high that he got hacked and he never scammed anyone, but his company collapsed and everybody lost money, including him. And he would probably be, legally liable for a lot of that shit. And people will call him a scam. But in my opinion, he did the best he could, even though people like me and others warned him that this is how it's going to end. You can say the same exact thing about Bernie Madoff. I'm sure at one point he was running a very legit hedge fund. And one day he decided, instead of fessing up to a screw up, he would try to, run a Ponzi. And there you go. So it's, yeah, so I use the term scam very, very loosely, but I just gave it a little context. Okay, next question. Can you show, oh man. Can you show and comment on Bitcoin channel on TradingView to year 2023? Oh man, I gotta find that tweet. Hold on. Let me see here. Let me see if I can do it fairly quickly. If I go to, all right, if I go to my Twitter and I click on, I guess, BTC USD, hopefully people are like tagging their tweets correctly when they tweet. Hey, I'm at the top. Wow. Top 2 tweets for BTC USD is me. Excellent. All right, so somewhere here there was a channel, same channel as mine, to 2023. Hopefully it'll show up fairly quickly. Hey, mine again. Oh man, I don't even see it. Thought that'd be a popular tweet. I know Whale Club did it, but just like their chat, they tweet too much and they post too much. So I don't want to go to Whale Club. I'm not going to draw my channel out to 2023. That's way too tedious. Come on, guys. You know, when you're actually looking for something, you can never find it. And I have way too many notifications on my Twitter, so it's kind of useless. Yeah, more of my tweets. Oh, man. Oh, well, maybe I missed it. Let me try one more thing here. 2023. Maybe you'll... Nope. Oh, well, sorry. I can't pull up the chart. I wouldn't look out that far. I don't believe any of the analysis is all that useful going out that far. All right, next question. If Bitcoin does get rejected again from the 50-day moving average, what would you consider a good buy point? Ooh. That's good, guys. If I'm getting challenging questions, that's good. So if Bitcoin gets rejected at this 50-day moving average, it might actually hurt. If it does, I would then look for an inverse head and shoulders back. Okay, so yeah, this is a tough one. So maybe I should go to the hourly chart. Good question. So if we get rejected right here at 1120, what happens? We'll probably go back down to about 1,000 because 1,000 is a nice fat round number. It's also reasonable to go back down to around 1950 to create this giant inverse head and shoulders. But if we then go below 950, I don't believe 915 is going to hold the price up the second time. And then we go lower. And if we go lower, what you're looking for is for this 200-day moving average at around 875, which would almost be a double bottom from the 890 that we hit before, 885, which would, again, create a tricky situation. And then we go down, and the next level of support becomes 760, which I also called on perfectly at 760. But now it creates another double bottom meant to be broken. Let's just say a lot of bad things happen if we get rejected at 1120, 50-day moving average, which is why I really do not want to see this rejection. If we get rejected right here in a significant way and price starts to drop, my technical picture becomes a bit nervous. But we also have channel support, right? So we also have this bottom channel support at around 1020. There is still lots of support. There will be 1025 support, 1000 support, 875 support, but now we're getting into double bottom territories, which I don't like. So I would love to see it broken. I would love to see Bitcoin just hang around this 1175 area. So I am really pulling for this violent break above 1120 to push us right into 1175, and then we could pull back to the 50-day moving average at 1120. So I'm going to watch this very carefully. I would start to get nervous if we get rejected, but I think the momentum is on our side to go higher. And if you get this violent break to the upside over the 50-day moving average, the moment it reaches like this 1175 or this declining trend line will probably be around the same area. If it gets rejected from there, that's okay. This is actually my profit-taking zone anyway. I doubt I would raise it again immediately because this is a pretty damn good run. And then I would love to see a pullback and create a perfect buy point at 1120 again, right? So I'm really watching this carefully, and I think this triangle breakout should be enough to push us over the edge. I also really like this buying volume right here. It's a high volume spike on the levels of this high volume spike, completely eliminating this negative volume spike, right? So it's so all this buying in Bitcoin has completely wiped out all of this selling on these pullbacks. So I think we have some clean momentum, and all we need is this violent break over 1120. It will take us right into 1175 and then watch the pullback. All right, even though you are expecting that the stock market will continue to increase in value, do you anticipate a correction before it rallies? Maybe. There will be some correction, but I don't believe the stock market is going to fall 20% at any time. Like maybe 5 to 10% correction and then higher. I'm expecting the corrections to be shallow this entire year. Watch out for the correction in May. Those are usually strong. And watch out for the correction in September. Those are usually strong. Other than that, I'm not expecting. There are black swan events, but I'm expecting general bullishness. Right, I got about 5 minutes left, guys. Question. Cliff High, I have no idea who that guy is. I've never seen a single one of his videos. Mentioned Ethereum as well as Ripple and Bitcoin exploding higher the 4th week of April. Can you go over why you don't trust Ethereum again? Because the value proposition of Ethereum is to build scams on it. So that's my general view of Ethereum. It needs to be a crypto scam episode, but I'm sorry, I haven't had time to do all my due diligence and research. I don't care what Cliff High says. I don't care about the web bot. I've never seen a single one of his videos. Do you think ETC will pump as high as Ethereum? No, I think eventually they will meet somewhere in the middle. No, I don't think it'll go up that high. Will Monero be the next one to skyrocket? Probably not. I don't know what the next one to skyrocket is. In a million years, I would have never guessed it was going to be Ripple. All right, guys, this is great. On that note, there are no more legitimate questions. Like I mentioned earlier, please reach out to me if you're interested in any specific analysis. If you're interested in my views on technical analysis or any one of my views, I have also started consulting with actual projects on what I see. Most of them are, not interested in my opinion, because my opinion would be, why the hell are you doing this? I do have financial expertise along with my knowledge of the crypto space. So if you are looking to for one-on-one education of technical analysis, the way I make these charts, if you need help building these charts, I put together this chart of the entire history of the Dow Jones, and I did this in one night for preparing for my presentation in Acapulco. So I love putting together historical charts. I wish I had more time for them. I wish this data went back to 1800s. I really do. Would have been awesome to see it. Yeah, I am available. My rate is 0.1 Bitcoins per hour. Some people are hitting me up even about altcoins. You're the boss. I will work for you with whatever you're interested in, and I will save the charts. And then on a delay, I'll show them to everybody else, like I did with Dash in this episode. I don't mind. If it doesn't take up too much time and it's simple. Okay. On that note, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you once again for your donations, and catch you on the next episode of Market Analysis, which will most likely be on Wednesday. I'm going to try and do these at 6 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesday, a little earlier for our European viewers. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.